The War Council chamber fell silent as Commander Zethrake's mandibles clicked nervously. The Calvaxian Empire had never retreated from any species in their 300-year expansion. Yet here they stood, debating whether to avoid a single star system occupied by humans. "Explain yourself." "General Voss," Zethrake demanded. "You recommend we bypass an entire sector because of—" "What fear?" General Voss, a grizzled veteran whose carapace bore the scars of 40 campaigns, stepped forward. His remaining good eye fixed on the council with an intensity that made even the commander uncomfortable. "Not fear, sir. Wisdom." Voss's voice carried the weight of experience. "I met a human sniper once. A long time ago during our first incursion into their colonial space. Pray to the ancients you never meet one." The chamber erupted in clicks and chirps of disbelief. Voss waited for silence before continuing. Her name was Lisa Chen, that human female killed 372 of our soldiers across 6 months. Alone. Voss's memory took him back to the jungle world of Kepler 442b, where everything had gone wrong. The humans called it New Providence. The Calvaxians had expected an easy conquest. Scattered colonists, minimal military presence, primitive weapons. They had been catastrophically wrong about all 3 assumptions. Captain Jackson Torres had been the colony's military liaison, a former Earth Defense Force instructor who'd retired to train local militias. When the Calvaxians dropped from orbit, he'd organized the defense with brutal efficiency. But it was his best student who became their nightmare. Lisa had been a wildlife surveyor before the invasion, tracking megafauna through the dense jungles. She knew every canyon, every ridgeline, every game trail across 1,000 square kilometers. When Jackson handed her a custom railgun rifle and gave her one order, "Make them afraid," she'd nodded once and disappeared into the green hell. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. The Calvaxians advanced, confident and careless. Then soldiers began dying. A squad leader investigating a water source. Gone. The crack of the railgun reached them 3 seconds after his head. Vaporized. 2 sentries on a ridgeline. Eliminated. The shot came from a position 2 kilometers away, through a gap in the foliage that existed for exactly 4 minutes as the twin suns aligned. An entire platoon pinned down for 16 hours, unable to move as Lisa systematically destroyed their equipment, their communications array, their water recyclers. She let them live. She wanted them to spread the fear. "We tried everything," Voss continued, his voice distant. "Drones, thermal imaging, seismic sensors. Humans are warm-blooded. We thought we'd find her easily, but she moved like smoke. Where we expected her, she wasn't. Where we didn't look, she was waiting." Young Lieutenant Kess spoke up. "Surely one human couldn't stop an entire invasion force." "She didn't have to stop us, fool. She just had to slow us down." Voss's mandibles clacked with bitter memory. "Every day we wasted hunting her. The human colonists evacuated civilians, fortified positions, called for reinforcements. Captain Torres turned that colony into a fortress while we chased shadows." The memory sharpened. Voss remembered the day he'd volunteered to hunt the human sniper himself. His pride, his certainty that he'd succeed where others failed. He'd tracked her for 3 days, using every trick he'd learned across decades of warfare. He'd finally found her nest, a perfectly camouflaged hide overlooking the main supply route, complete with pre-made firing positions, cached ammunition, and escape routes in 4 directions. It had been a trap. Of course, Lisa had been 200 meters away, watching him through her scope, waiting for him to find the decoy position. She could have killed him, should have killed him, but she'd done something that haunted him still. She'd shot the rifle out of his hands at 200 meters. Through jungle growth, she'd placed a railgun round precisely through his weapon's receiver, missing his primary limbs by centimeters. The message was clear. "I see you. I could have killed you. Remember this, Mercy." Then she was gone, vanished like morning mist. "The humans call it psychological warfare," Voss explained to the council. "That single shot broke something in me. I realized we weren't fighting an enemy. We were prey being toyed with by a predator." He pulled up a holographic display, showing classified footage from the evacuation of New Providence. "When their reinforcements arrived, we retreated, but watch this." The footage showed the human soldiers entering their reclaimed colony. Captain Jackson Torres stood at the landing pad, and from the jungle Lisa emerged. What happened next made the Calvaxian Council shift uncomfortably. The two humans didn't celebrate. Torres simply handed her a data pad and she nodded, reading casualty reports. 372 Calvaxian deaths. 0 civilian casualties during the evacuation period she'd bought them. Then Lisa did something that crystallized why humans were different. She planted a small marker in the ground, a memorial. The intelligence file noted for the Calvaxian soldiers she'd killed. The inscription translated read, "War makes necessities of horrors. May all souls find peace." The predator had paused to honor her prey. Commander Zeth stared at the frozen image. "This is why you counsel avoidance?" "Yes, sir," Voss straightened. "Because humans don't just fight, they perfect fighting. Every human soldier trains like Lisa. Every colony has a Jackson Torres organizing defenses. They turn every battlefield into a nightmare specifically designed for their enemy." He advanced the hologram, showing current intelligence on human military doctrine. Their snipers can eliminate targets from distances we consider impossible. Their special forces operate behind enemy lines for months without support. Their strategists study every species they encounter and craft counters to our every advantage. Voss's voice dropped to something almost reverential. And worst of all, they feel regret for killing us even while they're extraordinarily good at it. That memorial wasn't propaganda, it was genuine. We're facing a species that has weaponized compassion itself, because that guilt makes them try harder to end wars quickly, efficiently, and completely. The council chamber remained silent for a long moment. Finally, Commander Zeth spoke. "The vote is clear. We bypass human space. Let some other empire discover why humanity's territory expands while ours contracts." As the council dispersed, a young officer approached General Voss. "Sir, what happened to the human sniper?" "Lisa Chen?" Voss's remaining eye fixed on the young soldier. "Intelligence reports she's now training the next generation of human sharpshooters. There are thousands like her now." He paused. "Pray you never meet one." The officer paled beneath his carapace and hurried away. General Voss looked once more at the frozen image of Lisa Chen, that slight human who defeated an army of one. Then he turned off the display and walked into the darkness, carrying his nightmares with him. Somewhere in human space on a training range under alien stars, Lisa was teaching others the deadly patience that had saved her world, and the galaxy learned to give humanity's borders a wide berth. The end.